Hello, everyone. We are here for a special episode to talk about Obsession. And I don't know how to work StreamYard and mute everybody during the intro. So if you heard anything there, sorry about that.
Cleared my throat the worst
Yeah.
possible.
I'm like, I don't know if that's a setting I'm just missing, but like I know when we do other shows, it mutes everybody automatically. For some reason on mine, it does not. But I'll figure it out eventually. We'll get there.
Yeah.
So yes, we're here for a very special live here to talk about the movie that seems to have everybody obsessed right now with Obsession. It's the talk of the town. We're here to talk spoilers, kind of mini reviews from all of us. So let's go around. Obviously, I'm Alan, formerly or currently, I don't really know yet. I'm trying to figure it out. AG Reviews. We got Kyle here today. What's going on, Kyle?
Not too bad, man. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And then we got Daren. How you doing, Daren?
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It's always great to talk about some horror because I am a horror nut. I know Kyle might be in the same boat as me. I don't know about you, Daren, though. No?
I actually am the opposite. I don't like horror very much.
Oh wow. Okay.
Which is why this was a rarity. I'd argue this is my first big horror movie in a theater because typically I'm like I'll watch them at home when with the lights on. Where I can see all my exits.
What's going on?
Yeah. But this one, I was like, there's a different atmosphere on this one. I was like, fine, I'll go see this one. I'll see what's happening.
Yeah. And me and Kyle were kind of talking about that before the show started. That this was first screened back in September at both Toronto International Film Festival and Fantastic Fest. So I mean, it's been shown to people for 8 months and the buzz around it has always been positive, from what I could tell. And even now, the Rotten Tomato scores, I made a video about it, a short video just talking briefly about it. Like, the fact that it's so even and, almost dang near the same score for both critics and fans.
Yeah.
You don't ever see that. And I was like, that's just kind of crazy that it seems like everybody's who sees it is on the same page with it, which, especially in this day and age, does not happen, at all. There's always some type of divide somewhere. So I've seen it twice. Both of you have only seen it once, I believe. So I know Daren, you were the one that saw it most recently. So I'll kind of let you kick it off, and then I'll go after. So what did you think about the film? And these are going to be non-spoiler thoughts for now. I'll put up a tag once we get into the juicy stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, going in was interesting because I saw that trailer and I was like, that looks good, but I might probably won't see it immediately. And then obviously leading up to the movie, there's a lot of buzz. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Indy, who obviously did Superman Lois stuff back in the day, and I was like, I like her as an actress, so we'll see. And then it was very clear to see moving up to the movie, there's a different atmosphere, there's a different vibe. It's almost on a different level, but it's almost the equivalent of last year's Sinners, where I hadn't heard a lot about Sinners until going into the last couple weeks into it. It's like, oh no, this is a different thing than we thought it was going to be. I kind of adored Obsession though. Like I said previously, I'm not a big horror guy, so I don't typically love that feeling, but I think they nailed it on almost every category. I think the way they present this character, they opened up a world that I really want to see again. This is such an original and fresh, I don't want to say IP because I don't want to open that up for them to be franchise. I don't know that. But this is the one case I'm like, well, you gotta do horror. There's so much in the world and stuff. Already one of the best performances I've seen this year, and I don't see anyone topping that. Performances are great, setting's great, and obviously once you see the budget too, it's oh, so you can do this on a lower budget. Just doing it. So adored this movie. Thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. I posted a review. I don't know if I think you posted one, Kyle, if I'm not mistaken, a review for the film. Yeah. I don't think you have Daren. I posted my review. This is far and away my favorite film of the year. I absolutely love this thing. I very rarely give a movie a perfect score, like a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, whatever your rating is. This is a 10 out of 10 for me. Looking back, I maybe had a couple of minor grievances after the first viewing. I think after I saw it the second time, let some of the themes process a little bit more, I absolutely adore this film. Indy Navarrete, I was not familiar. I've watched Superman and Lois, and I totally forgot that was her in that. Brought it up to me, just because of how transformative the performance is. That's a star-making performance.
I agree.
Anything that she's in going forward is going to have more eyes on it. It's going to get more attention. When it comes to horror performances, like when I think of her performance in the movie, I think of Toni Collette in Hereditary. I think of Naomi Scott in Smile 2. I feel like there's Mia Goth and Pearl in the X trilogy. Like that's the level that she's on. And I think there's a debate that she was even better. And what we got from her here was just fantastic. And I want to also give a shout out to Curry Barker, because I think Indy is kind of overshadowing the whole talk of the movie with her performance and some of the discourse about this film, which we're going to get into, that I have found to be very odd and very weird, how things people are taking from this movie. But Curry Barker, for a first-time director here, this is some masterful shit, you know. Like this is his directorial debut.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't have told me that, I would have assumed that this guy was a 15-movie veteran with some of the things that he was doing here. The vision is so clear, and he did directing, writing, and editing, and you could just feel the consistency across this film, and I think that's what works, so well about it. And I think this movie is just genuinely scary and unnerving. Like, there were some moments in this film that just had me so tense and so uncomfortable in ways I just haven't felt in a movie in a long time. So, 5 out of 5. Movie of the year. Honestly, might be my favorite horror movie since Hereditary. And I love Hereditary. That's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. And I'm debating. I don't want to call it so soon because it's recency and everything, and I don't want recency bias, but this is an all-timer. I feel like I'm going to revisit this film quite a lot. Like, it's going to be a yearly watch for me, basically, at this point, in my mind, as I feel now. So, what about you, Kyle? Are we all in unison? I'm assuming we are here on how we feel about the film.
100%. This was, so I kind of said in my video that I always get really worried whenever, especially TikTok, says like this is the scariest movie I've ever seen, the best horror movie I've ever seen, and then you go see it, you're like, I mean, it was fine. I've seen 5 better this year than that, but and like you said, like back in September, we were talking before this, Cody Leach, pretty big YouTuber, was talking about how this is his favorite movie, I believe, the last couple of years. And I was like, oh, that's big praise coming from him, especially. So I loved it. The lead actress, Indy, should be nominated for something. I don't know if she will, because horror gets snubbed a lot, unfortunately. The guy that played Bear, I can't think of his name right now.
Michael Johnson.
I think he did phenomenal at it too.
He did.
And one aspect I noticed about this movie too is there's some great comedy in here too, and great comedic timing in there that I was laughing out loud and sometimes being very uncomfortable laughing as well.
Especially from Indy. Like, she had some moments where I was like, I'm not okay. Like, I felt like the guy was it The Simpsons, where he's on the bus and he's like, I'm in danger. Like, that was me. I was like, this is crazy.
100%. No, this is I would say one of the best horror movies of the past 10, 15 years, to be honest with you. I loved it.
Yeah. And I think like that's very true with like nowadays, where especially in horror, right? Like, I feel like we've gotten like 4 this year alone, where the buzz going into it is, oh, this is the greatest thing since, I've heard people say this is the best film since Hereditary for the last 8 years, right? That's all I ever hear. And I'm like, it's never actually true. It never holds up to that. But I think this is the first time where I'm actually like, no, the hype before the film actually was justified. It was not a case where everyone was just talking out of their ass and hyping this up for everything. It is indeed woke, Chainsaw. I will say that. It is very woke. There's a lot of woke things involved with it.
Yes.
And I will say, too, you brought up Cody Leach. He released a great video, I believe yesterday, about kind of some of the conversations we're going to have about the discourse on this movie. And I thought it was fantastic. He even kind of made me realize a couple of moments where I'm like, oh, shit. I didn't even really think about that when I was watching the film. I'm like, now I reflect. I'm like, yeah. And I think that, too, is what's so genius about this film is it has so many layers, it doesn't answer a lot of questions. Like there's a lot of things that they leave up for interpretation.
Yes.
And I think that is just so great when a filmmaker can not like treat their audience like they are actually intelligent. That to me is the best. And this is one of the most effective ways I've seen that in quite some time.
I love, and I won't talk about what it is yet. I'll save that till later. But like we reach the ending, and I'm like, well, it could be this thing, and they could do this or this or this.
Yeah.
Like there's 10 possible different timelines. I feel like stemming from the last 5 minutes, and I think that is going to make the like longevity of a movie like this really stand out, because it's like, wait, what did happen to said character? Like, where are they going to be taking that? So that's very good on them.
And then you kind of touched on it too earlier. You know, normally when we get a very good original film, I am one of the, especially in horror, I'm one of the first people that's like, no franchise, no IP. Then I hear Curry Barker talk about his idea for that anthology TV series, and I'm like, ooh.
Well, that's the way to do a franchise, right?
That is
to take a template, right? It's not like, okay, we're doing a sequel to this, which they could if they really wanted to, I guess. But it's like, no, we're taking the like general like genie in a bottle, or like, you know, like that general template of like, okay, you wished for this, so now we're going to twist it, and now it turns into like, that's such a good template. You can make 1,000 movies or 1,000 episodes of television based on that concept. And I'm shocked that, and I know it probably has been done, but I'm shocked it hasn't been done at least in a big way up until this point, because it's such a basic premise, and it's like, why hasn't anyone done this? Like, it's such a good idea.
Well, and that, and I kind of think too, when I talk about like Curry Barker and his, what feels like he's a veteran in the way that he lays this out. Like he takes an idea that isn't really that new. Like we've done like the Wish thing in horror even before.
Sure.
And he just executes it in a way that I'm like, this is like nothing I've ever seen. This is, I was lost for words at like what he did here as a filmmaker. So yeah. Crazy into the budget. It's been making some good money. Although the budget, it's $750K the movie was made for. People are leaving out the fact though they did pay him $15 million.
They acquired it.
To acquire it. Yeah, so you kind of have to factor that in the budget, but I think it's up to like 28 million or something. I haven't checked the most.
It's already made back its budget. Yeah,
it's going to be fine. And he's doing Texas Chainsaw next too.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh man.
I think he might be the perfect guy to do it. To be honest with you.
And I think he said that he's already he's also already filmed his next movie besides that. Like it's done already, which is also cool for him.
Which is awesome,
and this will help boost that movie up, being like, hey guys, I made that thing that you really liked. So now go watch this one.
Which I think it's with Aaron Paul and like Bryce Dallas Howard. I've been watching interviews with him now talking about the movie for the past like 7 days at this point. And you could just tell, like, I don't know, he just gets it. There's something about him when he talks. I'm like, for being so young and like so inexperienced, like how do you do this? Like I don't understand.
And that's just like really quickly, if I can get on myself up really quickly. Like there's also been such a wave of people being like, oh, so like he must have had someone helping him all this way. Like there's no way this kid can be that talented. It's like, okay, and I think that might be the like COVID of it all. Like I think people forget that we aged through, like us Gen Z, like we aged through that era. We didn't just like stop and age. Like no. People within my demographic still learned how to make movies, are still talented. Let's not undermine just because we're a little younger. But yeah, they did fantastic.
Yeah, he's only 26. Like that blew my mind. I was like, gee, I was 5 years old when this guy was born.
Yeah, same.
Kind of makes me feel a little like, damn, what am I doing with my life? You know? Well, too, because he comes from YouTube, so it's like, you know, this is a guy that's like in our space. I mean, I know he doesn't do the content that we do, but you know, the fact that he had his following made on YouTube through comedy sketches and stuff, it's crazy.
That's like the new trend, right? Is like we're seeing a lot of new YouTubers who reviewed movies for, you know, 10 or so years, 20 years are now like, hey, I'd actually like to do that myself. Like I have the experience. I know how it's done. Let me apply that and do it myself, which I think it's great.
Absolutely. And I guess supposedly, I don't know if he confirmed this or not, but they're saying in the next movie it's going to briefly mention the fallout that happens at the end of the movie, which we'll get to. But if there is some connective tissue between his projects, I think that'll be very smart, for his brand and stuff like that. So, So I think we all love it. I think it's all at the top of our list. Would you guys all say favorite movie of the year, or you got something else above it?
I would say it's mine.
I'm gonna say so far, like recency bias is here. I was like, I did really love Project Hail Mary as well. So I was like, but I think this might, like, just at least for now, it has that edge for me. I have it at 4.5 right now, but that's just my personal rules. I don't like giving anything 5 stars until I've seen it a second time. So
fair. That's fair. But, and I mean, we obviously have a very stacked year, right? So it could. I think if something does dethrone it, then it will have been a damn good year. That's my philosophy. So
like, I'm also curious because we got like Clayface at the end of the year, so like I doubt it will beat it, but I'm like, well, there could maybe be another competition in the like horror genre as well.
That's true.
We'll see.
That is true. Okay, so I think we can move on and kind of get into some spoilers. So do you guys want to do breakdown or maybe talk about some of the discourse around the film first?
That's up to you.
Okay,
Dealer's choice.
Let's just go spoilers. Let's just let's talk about the film. Opening scene, right off rip, you get in the diner. Spoilers again for anyone who's watching and has not seen Obsession. We're about to break down the whole plot, talk about everything, and spoil the entire movie for you. Starts off in the diner. You get this monologue from Bear, Michael Johnson's character, where he's seemingly professing his love to what you would think is Nikki in the way they position it, but it's not. It's a waiter or waitress at the diner that they're at, and his great friend, which we'll get into that in a little bit here. His great friend Ian, tells him that he sounds like a sap and he's going to embarrass himself if he goes and tells this to Nikki, and you have this awkward moment between her and the waitress, which I think she was very sweet about it. She was trying to let him down, but not really, be too mean about it. But to me, and we'll kind of probably jump back and forth based on the full length of the movie, especially on a second watch with this film. This scene in particular really was like it just hit different when the results of the movie and kind of some of the revelations that are made later on, and the way that Ian is trying to and again, this goes into the up for interpretation, but it almost seems like he's trying to set his friend up to fail in that moment, and ruin his chance with Nikki. But I think this does a good job at kind of showing the desperation, and how much he loves Nikki, or maybe not loves her, but is infatuated and obsessed with her. And what Ian thinks about that. So as a opener, how did you guys feel about this scene?
That's interesting because, like, I think you're right. It probably does hit harder the second time. I didn't even piece that together until you literally just said it. But because, like, at the time, I thought it was more so commentary of, like, oh, well, guys are dumb and they don't always know how to talk to women, and they're, they think they know what they want, but it's really like, oh no, that approach probably actually could have worked opposed to what he was pitching. But I think you're right. It's like, oh no, there was clearly stuff going on that they didn't tell him about. And we're kind of seeing the trajectory with that dynamic. And so, I think I think you're right. Like, I think this is probably a movie that will hit even harder once you see the little pieces of, like, oh, that's what that thing meant. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, Kyle, same thoughts or anything to add to that?
Yeah, pretty much. Like you said, like, once you've seen the movie, like, because right away you're like, oh, Ian's just he's that buddy just kind of busting your balls. About being shitty with women. Yeah. And then the whole time you're like, oh no, this guy kind of a piece of shit the entire time. But I think it sets up the movie really nicely.
It does, I think it sets up the premise and kind of just the desperation for there. And then we move on from that scene. It was a quick short scene. I like the intro, kind of sets the groundwork for everything. And then we immediately flash back over to his home, and his cat is dead on the floor, which I was like, whoa. That was when I knew, like, okay, we're just gonna go dark right away. Which I think set up a whole bunch of other character traits with Bear that you didn't really pick up on the first time. Like, that medicine cabinet is just full of prescription drugs, and the way he reacts to the cat's death, which understandable. I probably would react the same way if I saw my pet, OD on some Oxycontin. But yeah, I think that kind of, lays the groundwork a little bit to kind of show you his mindset and like where he's at with being on drugs and everything like that. And then you get the phone call with Nikki, where you kind of get their first interaction. She tells him that she's putting in her 2 weeks. He kind of seizes that as the opportunity to go to trivia night, and maybe tonight be the night. You kind of get the back and forth once you get there with him and Ian, which I kind of like that. And that scene, you talked about comedic timing, Kyle, in the movie, and I thought that was one of them there. And then we get into trivia night and the whole group, which I am going to say I vote is probably the worst friend group of all time, if we're being honest. None of these people seem like they're transparent with one another, honest with one another.
Sure.
Everything's going on behind each other's backs. And
it's I feel like it's all more about like wanting to hook up with each other than like actually it's like, well, this person likes this person, but this one likes this person, but this person doesn't know that this person likes this. Like it's one of those things. And I think that phone call scene is a very apparent for what we see later on in the movie, because I think that scene shows not that Bear doesn't care for Nikki, like he obviously does, but there is also a very clear commentary. I think he likes the idea of Nikki more than Nikki himself. She's talking about, I'm not happy here, I don't want to do this, and he doesn't really. He's just like, but I'll miss you, and I want this, and then this, and so it's like there's more of a need for something more than actually her real ambitions and wants and needs, which I think definitely leads into stuff we see later on in the movie. Like, it's definitely set up very early on. But also I think that scene's very important too. Those first 50 minutes, I think, are arguably the most important moments of the whole movie, because if you don't care about Nikki, none of this means anything. Right? If you don't care about her as a character and Bear and her dynamic from the jump, it means nothing when we actually get down to the bronze tacks of what the movie is trying to tell. So I thought it was a great first, several minutes to kind of set up the movie.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I think, too, they make her so likable, right? Right off rip. And Curry Barker talked about it when casting her, that, he wanted to find someone that could, be a sweetheart and just be regular Nikki, and then also make that switch. And
they're two separate characters.
They're
and you see that.
They're the performances, the switch that she has in this movie on multiple different occasions is quite insane.
On a dime.
And terrifying. If I was some of the stuff if I was experiencing that, I would be like, all right, something's wrong here, and we'll kind of just let the cat out of the bag. The whole debate about Bear, right? And is he the villain? Who's the victim here? I think it's very clear, and not from this moment. I think there's a very particular moment where Bear kind of turns dark. It's a little bit longer down the road, but I think that this introduction to her sets that up. So that way, when it gets down the road, when all these horrible things start happening, you do really feel bad. Especially when because the trailer, I thought, did a great job hiding things. I don't think it was very revealing.
Sure.
Or anything like that. So then, we get to the end of the night. They've all had some drinks, it seems like, not overtly wasted or anything, which comes into play later. And Bear offers to take home Nikki, and they kind of have a conversation, about how their lives are going. Nikki talks about how she's unhappy, like you had mentioned, a little bit more in detail than she did on the phone. And that's why she wants to leave and she wants to become a writer. I really loved the scene where they're talking about her writing, and she says that she's writing a love story. I don't remember exactly how it played out. She says she's writing a love story, and Bear mentions, isn't that a romance? And she says, no, it's a love story. And he's like, aren't those the same thing?
Yeah.
That, to me, especially on a rewatch, I was like, oh, that is the whole premise right there of what this film is and what we're looking at here. So I thought that whole scene was great. And then, she says some things in the car, and this is another thing that I think was masterfully not answered, was her feelings for Bear before the wish. And she says a couple of things like, when I have a crush on someone, no one will ever know it. And then they drop her off. He makes the freaky Nikki comment, which, you know, like I said, I think Ian made him say to set him up for failure. And then she just point blank asks, Bear, do you like me? If you do, the time is to say it is right now. He's a coward and, you know, a softie. I'll just say that. I won't get too mean on Bear, at least not yet. And he doesn't do it. How do you guys interpret that? Are you on the side? Do you think that Nikki had reciprocated those feelings that Bear has?
It's not how I read it. I mean, not to jump ahead, but like we even hear the stuff earlier, like, well, she, you know, you were like a little brother to him. And I think that scene was like, do you like me? And I think if he would have said yes, it's like, listen, I love, you know, I like you and I think you're great, but that's not what I'm looking for right now. And I think it's really interesting also like seeing it from the guy's perspective, because I think, you know, we can often over exaggerate how we see certain situations. And I think in his mind, it's like, oh no, wait, she did like me. And I, you know, this was blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And I never got the vibe that she necessarily reciprocated. Like even the scene when they're like at the bar, that was very like brother sister dynamic to me. That wasn't like potential flirtatious vibes. Not saying, you know, it couldn't have been. I know some people hide it better than others. Like, you know, she even has her own line of like, oh, well, I won't let you know. But I think that line more so is like, well, you didn't know I liked your friend. Was kind of the idea. Yeah.
That was kind of how I thought about it too. What about you, Kyle? What do you think?
Yeah, no, to be honest with you, like a lot of us have been there in life where you got a crush and you try talking to her and you fucking blow it. And the whole, I don't know if she liked him like that, at least yet. I think there might have been a possibility in the future that maybe they catch feelings or whatever. But for me, we haven't technically talked about it yet, I guess. But once the switch happens and she kind of changes her attitude a little bit, right away, I didn't know the magic stick thing was actually doing it, or if it was, you know, she was maybe drunk, like they said, or so. That I don't know. I felt bad for him at the time. I'll just say that it was cringy for sure.
It's weird because like in my mind, like logically, I don't think she had feelings for him. But then when you think of like the story they're telling, when you get the whole picture, I'm like, wouldn't it be that much more tragic of how this all played out if she did like him? Because it's almost like if he would have just took the moment to finally admit his feelings.
He just said it. Yeah.
Maybe none of this happens, and maybe they wouldn't have worked out, but maybe they would have gave it a shot, you know, and none of this would have happened.
Yeah.
Maybe he would have ended up finding another character that we're going to talk about here in a little bit. That's also very tragic. And I think, again, I just think that's the brilliance of this movie is that there's no definitive answer. It's like, it's all speculation. It's all, what do we think happened? And that's what I love about the movie. So, you know, from there, he's very frustrated with himself, grabs the one wish willow that he intended to give to Nikki in the first place, which I kind of think of like, what would have happened if she would have did it?
What a what if story.
Right. Yeah. Like, what would she have done? You know, he makes the wish, cracks it, and then, like you said, Kyle, almost immediately flips the switch. And that, I think, right, like that very first scene where she's flipped was like such an indication of what we were going to get from the film, because it was almost like Nikki was struggling and was going back and forth. It was like, because then she was like, "Oh, what the fuck? What am I doing?" Like, and it was like it kept going back and forth between regular Nikki and, you know, freaky Nikki is what I like to call her. So that to me, like, that was like, okay, like this is about to be an all-time performance, and where we were at.
I think that's the stuff that freaked me out the most in this movie was the, like, she's in there. Like, she is actively fighting to escape. And I think that first night, like, it went against what I thought the expectation was going to be. Like, I thought it was going to be the very template. Okay, it didn't work the night. He's like, oh, man, it didn't work. He goes home. And then the following day, he's like, oh, my God. You know, but it's like, no, it's instant. It takes place like instantly, and I love just again her performance, how she can balance the two, and again in those first 30 minutes I've heard like she's there, like she's in there, it feels like she's screaming to get out, but she can't, she's stuck in there, and the like implication of that is so terrifying and scary that I think they did a fantastic job at displaying that, and the scariness of just like the randomness of when it could happen and when she could try and get out kind of thing is fantastic.
Yeah, it was great. That was just like I said, immediately you're like the balance here that she was portraying. I was just blown away almost immediately. I was like, okay, I see what people are talking about the moment that scene played out. And then too, even just like the weird, like, oh, you want to come inside? I lost my cat. Wait, no, you lost your cat. And it's like, that's the stuff I mean, where it's like back and forth. It's like clearly Freaky Nikki's motivation is, hey, get this guy inside my house right now. Right. Whereas other Nikki's like, wait, what the hell am I saying? What's going on right now? It was almost like she was on drugs and was drunk and was just trying to struggle with it. So then, and then they end up, driving back to his place. You get the scene where she, infamously says that her dad has cancer, which that, plays into the part later on. So he takes her to her place. She's very sad. They have a conversation where they talk, and he says that she has one up on him. Obviously, dad with cancer versus dying cat, pretty two different things. And I forget I don't know if anything actually happens that's weird that night. I think they kiss for the first time and kind of show a little bit of feelings there.
Well, they have the scream moment, right? It's like they're making out when she screams.
Oh, that's right.
And
yes.
That was one of them that got me, because I think that's actually the movie's strength, is that they lure you into a sense of like kind of peace. And it's like, oh, it's a nice scene. And then it's like, holy shit. All right.
He was like, what the fuck is that?
I'd be out of there in seconds.
Yeah.
Well, and that's kind of and it's been part of the discourse, right? And in a moment like that, something in his head probably should have flicked, like, something's not right here. Like, why is all of a sudden she's this infatuated with me, but then has this moment where it's like she's terrified of me. And then I believe they end up just sleeping together in the bed. I don't think they really do anything. And then, he wakes up the next morning and the mural of the cat is in the kitchen. And like, for me right there, that's really where I'd be like, what is happening right now? Like, what is going on? So I think that was actually more like, that's probably the moment where I looked at Bear and I'm like, okay, well, why are you not raising, like, he's, he voiced frustration with her about it, but like, he didn't really like talk about it or be like, hey, like, what are you doing? This is weird. This is not normal. What are you doing?
I guess the only bit I would defend on that first night would be the whole Molly excuse that they come up with, right? It's like, oh, she was high and whatever, and he could throw that up and say, oh, whatever, we can move on. I do kind of like the like symbolism of the cat stuff throughout the movie, though, because there is like a long history connection with magic and cats, and so there is a part of me that's like, okay, is that some kind of symbolism? Is there something about like, even crossed my mind. I think this is way too far-fetched, but like there's even a part of me, I'm like, did the cat sense something was coming and killed himself because he wanted to avoid whatever was coming? I don't think that's what happened, but that was kind of in my head of like, okay, maybe they can sense magic was brewing or something bad was about to happen, and so maybe the magic is like, maybe this Nikki who is born from magic wants to honor her, like the legacy of what I stand for in magic.
Like a weird shrine in the house to like say, hey, I've arrived,
something, I don't know.
No. But and then then they go to they go into work because they this whole friend group somehow has a job at the same exact place. I don't really know how that turns out.
I guess they probably met at the job is kind of how I took it, is that they all had the same job there and then they met. And I think friends from there.
If I remember, I thought they had said that they had known each other since they were like younger.
It was like middle school.
Middle school.
Okay.
So whatever. Movie plot hole, movie logic. Sure. That's just kind of where I go with that. And then that to me is like the first scene that you get the very creepy still performance from Indy, where He comes in, Ian's all kind of happy for him, like, oh, you guys went home last night? You're walking in together today? What's going on? And, and this is where I know that Bear knew something was wrong because he expresses concern to Ian, like, hey, something's wrong here. She was all on me all of a sudden and then did this weird stuff and everything like that. And the whole time that and I know I really paid attention for this on the second viewing, the whole time Nikki is at the cash register staring at Bear and never lets up. You can't see her clearly, but she never lets up and is staring directly at Bear that entire time. And I felt like that was the first moment where I was like, the way that Curry Barker uses cameras and lighting in this film was absolutely phenomenal. So was that the same? Like, did you guys feel the same in that moment where you're like, oh, this is very unsettling? And this is in broad daylight. This isn't even in like a dark home or anything in public. And
that's honestly, I would say it's what some of the best horror movies do, like Hereditary and stuff like that, is in that you're almost looking in the background of every single shot because you're just trying to look for something. And that's a perfect example where I don't even think she's in focus most of the shot. It's just just kind of see her looking in that vicinity of those two. So that's a great scene.
Yeah. And he uses that, I think, throughout the entire film where he'll either make Nikki, like you said, like not in focus, but you can just see her presence in the back, or, certain scenes later where like she's just fully in the dark, even though you can hear her talking and like see her moving around. I'm like, oh my God, like it just gave me the heebie-jeebies watching that. So that kind of starts. And then, they kind of, I don't know if Ian, I can't remember if Ian like mentioned to her about the whole evening and like how Bear was weirded out. So she kind of acts distant, kind of like trying to play like manipulation a little bit with him. It goes, gets a ride from Ian. Then he goes home. She ends up showing up. We have that scene where she kind of talks about, oh, well, I was on Molly and everything, kind of making excuses like you had mentioned before to justify the weird behavior. And then, they have the scene where they both confess. Well, don't know about Nikki, but Bear finally confesses his feelings for Nikki, and then it goes into this whole montage sequence about them dating. They're not really clear in the movie how much time goes by, but it's at least 2 weeks because I believe Nikki's not working at the I don't even know what it was. It was like a guitar store or something.
It was like a music store.
Music store, yeah. So then they kind of go through that whole montage, and then you get to the scene that in the restaurant that was kind of circulating before the release. It's been memed to death. I've seen a million TikTok videos for it. And this is kind of, for me at least, the whole debate of Bear's the villain, Nikki's the victim. This is kind of the moment for me where I think Bear continuing after this point is where he is just ruining everything and causing this whole situation to get worse. They have the conversation, they have a very sweet conversation, the whole back and forth. It seems like Bear's opening up to her, telling her about what he wants to do. And then you get the call from Ian, who reveals that she lied about her dad having cancer. Then you get that, don't do that, no scene that, is going around, which, another one where it's like,
fantastic.
The switch, like the immediate sweet Nikki to, oh my God, everything's unraveling all at a moment. So I mean, obviously we've all seen the scene even before the movie was out. So like, where you guys feel the same way that was kind of the turning point for Bear of no return.
Yeah, that's definitely how I feel, and I think it's very interesting commentary about how we can ignore we can ignore things if it's benefiting us.
Yeah.
And I think, not to jump too far ahead, but I think it's interesting. I'm like, okay, he can put his concerns and his fears aside because he has what he wants. But once he's no longer benefiting from this thing is when he cares and wants to take it back and wants to undo it. And I do think that's what makes him the villain in my eyes. Like, he didn't necessarily care about her well-being because it's like, well, he gets to benefit from this thing and this is what he always wanted. And I think it makes it a very interesting character. And I think, I think that's kind of my thing with this whole like controversy of it all, where it's like, yeah, I think everyone's right. Bear is the asshole. Like, Bear kind of sucks, but also that is kind of the point. Like, it's a cautionary tale. Like, it's like a Breaking Bad. Like, I feel like there is such a I feel like there's a trend going on right now where it's like characters have to be perfect. If they're not perfect, they suck. It's like, no, that was the point. Like, you're not supposed to like Walter White. Like, the point is that Walter White is a horrible person, and you're watching a good man become bad, and that's kind of what you're seeing with this character. I feel like.
Yeah, people are flawed. I mean, that's at the end of the day, it's what it is. And once you find out that all that stuff's a lie, which you've obviously the guy that was sleeping with her would know that because she's never mentioned that dad to me before. That once that happens, it's like you really should have ended it there if you even could have, I guess.
Well, and that's kind of been my whole debate with some people, where it's like, what would he have actually done outside of killing himself or killing Nikki? Really, not a whole lot. I mean, you could have did the wish thing. We don't know if that would have worked. I know Ian ruined it later on in the movie. We'll obviously talk about that, but would that have even worked? That's my whole thing. That's another thing that I think was left, kind of ambiguous and didn't really get a definitive answer. We don't know if that would have worked. So really go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
I guess my only thing is he didn't try until later. Would might have been like, I think that was a moment I would have been like, oh fuck, okay, we got to clear this up now. But it's like, oh no, I can sleep with her and I can do all the stuff that I've wanted to do with her. I can put back. I can push past the crazy a little bit. Like, even not to jump ahead, but like even when he calls, does the call thing, he doesn't call it up immediately either. Like that's another take. I would. There's no way in hell I could go back into that house after hearing what I had just heard.
Right.
And then two, like the reason I say that, like the restaurant scene is kind of where it's no return is because it's immediately followed up with the sex scene. I mean, if we're calling the situation as it is, I know it's not what you would envision normally, but it's a rape scene. That's just what it is. And
100%.
The fact that you get the shot of him doing it and then you see her just completely crying, like she's like going along with it, but you can see like the real Nikki's there and is just not enjoying obviously that because she has no control of the situation. That was the moment where I was like, and it was another very unsettling moment where I'm like, oh, this movie is not afraid to make anyone feel uncomfortable. Like they're going to go there to convey what he's trying to convey. And I like that. So, and then what else? And then, okay. So next scene we get, which was one of the best scenes for me. You get at night where he wakes up at 3:30 in the morning or right around that time. And at first, the first time I saw it, I didn't even see her in the corner. I didn't even see it. Took me a minute to realize. And then when I realized, I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that she's standing there right now. And that flip and like the scene, even the voice she makes when she's like crying and, oh, you don't love me as much. And I'm like, it doesn't even sound like her. That's just a completely different person, completely different character. And just straight up nightmare fuel. That was one of the scenes that like stuck with me after I saw the film.
Creepy. Yeah.
She almost moves like a snake kind of too. Like she almost like slithers when she walks. It's weird.
Yeah. And the way she moves too. Like and Curry Barker even talked about it. Like a lot of the shots in this film feel kind of like an uncanny valley, but it was all done by her. Like they didn't use any effects in any of these moments to enhance her performance, which again, like I know this is going to be all praising Indy Navarrete, but it's in moments like that.
I think like there's also this element that, and maybe this is just my like interpretation of it, but like his wish isn't human nature, right? It is not natural to love someone unconditionally more than anyone in the world. So I do think there's also a bit of her performance in there that's like, I physically don't know how to love you more than anyone in the world, and it's her just consistently trying to find new ways to do the wish and like complete like his wish. And it's like, I sometimes feel like you don't love me as much as I love you, or like vice versa. And it's like I think that's her like, how do I do this? Like, how do I love you more than anyone else? How do I do? It's like, oh, I'll watch you sleep. That's what someone that would love you more than like. I think it's stuff like that where it's like, oh, like if I love you more than anything, then I'll sit in your bed and do, like I think like that's been the like consistent thing of the movie. I think is so much interesting. Is like how can she keep upping the ante of what the wish was originally? That is just fascinating stuff.
Yeah. What happened to my camera here? I don't know why my camera does this. Whenever I like move out of frame, it just completely shits itself.
You look like Nikki when she was in that music store.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. Curry Barker is controlling my camera right now, trying to make me look creepy. Yeah, I don't know. That scene just stuck with me. Probably more. I mean, there's a few obviously in this film, but that was kind of the unnaturalness. That was the moment where I was like, oh, this is like really something sinister and unnatural that's happening to Nikki. And it kind of felt like again, moments where she's kind of breaking through, but not really. Like freaky Nikki still has control of her in certain ways. So
her scream, I think, is what got me. It's
like,
it's black. You just hear the scream, so you can't can't be like, oh, like I'm seeing this thing, so it's coming from there. It's blackness. Like you don't know what's happening and how to. It's great. Yeah.
And then she walks in with the flower like covering her face. I was just like, again, camera angles and shots and the way that Curry Barker shot this film, I'm like, oh man, that you just know how, just from a frame, no jump scares, no nothing, just from building tension and the way he shoots things in his films, completely unsettling.
Yep.
So then, we have the next day, one of my other favorite scenes too. He wakes up in the morning, notices something in the mirror, notices his hair is a little cut. Goes and talks to her. He's like, hey, did you cut my hair? And she's like, yeah, you can't do that. And, they're having a conversation. He's got to go to work and she wants to go with him and everything. And then he turns around, gets ready to stand up and walk out the door. And they keep the camera on Bear for like 3 minutes. It felt like as he's just looking shocked and you're sitting there like, what is this dude looking at? And then they pan around and you see the whole entire door taped with duct tape too. And the sound design, that's the thing we haven't even talked about, the sound design in this, because in my theater, at least, I saw it in Dolby. And the way you can barely hear Nikki when she goes, well, if you can't get the door open, then you're going to have to stay home. I was just like, oh, God. And that was another thing that I thought was great, was sound. Like sound was used so effectively in this. I don't know if you guys saw it in standard or not, but in Dolby it was like, oh, that really added to the experience and it was much better. And I imagine it was probably that way for any like large format enhanced audio theaters. But yeah, I was like, that was one of my favorite scenes.
And that goes into kind of like what I was saying too. It's like, okay, how can I love you? It's like, okay, I can't love you if you're gone. And I think that was the big thing. It's like, oh, okay, I need to keep him in this house. I need to keep him.
Yeah.
If he's gone, I can't love him.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah. And then when he finally leaves, you get the like pearl like smile from her.
Yeah.
That, from my understanding, she sat there all day. She literally stood there all day long, waiting for him to come home. Which, I mean, that's why I said like comparisons to like Mia Goth from Pearl and X, because it's not as long as that was in Pearl with Mia Goth with that scene, but it was just I don't know. It felt uncanny, even though it was her.
Yeah.
There's some like dog-like tendencies or like pet-like tendencies that she puts into her performance. I think is interesting. Like it feels like a dog who just. Who their owner just like went to work and it's like, okay, I will sit here until you leave, and the like peeing on the carpet I think is really interesting. I don't know if that was a writing decision or if that was on her, but I think it's really interesting because that's kind of what animals are like, right? Like they love you unconditionally. They love you no matter what you do to them, and kind of the same general idea. So I thought that was a really, really smart move on their part. Again, I don't know if that was on the directing or if that was on, if that was like in the script itself, but great decision. I thought that was fantastic.
It also felt a little like childlike to me. Like I have kids, right? So like some of the moment, like with her using the bathroom, just standing there, right? I was like, and then her infatuation with Bear did feel a little like childlike in the way that she was so infatuated with him. So I thought she obviously did great at conveying that. And
the like temper tantrums of like,
yeah,
you're angry in 1 minute, and it's like, oh no, let's just play now. Like, let's just have fun. Yeah.
Right.
And not to backtrack, but like the scene where they're in the bed and she just like screams to like stop him from getting out of the bed.
Yes.
Like my wife, even when we saw it, she was like, "Oh my god, that's one of my daughters, Amelia." She's like, "That's like Amelia in the middle of the night," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even really think about that the first time." So yeah, like I said, the second time, like if you guys when you guys rewatch it, you're gonna pick up on little things and be like, "Oh my, this is just genius filmmaking." The way they did this. So then he goes to work. We kind of get the first like real like extended conversation between him and Sarah, which is one of the other girl of their friend group. You can clearly see that, there's some feelings there. And I thought it was apparent, especially on a rewatch on both sides. Like it felt like Bear had a thing for it too, a little bit, not as much, right? Like it definitely felt, it was kind of like a reverse of what was Bear and Nikki, where I think they both had maybe a little bit of mutual feelings, but Sarah was clearly more infatuated with him than he was with her. So you get that whole conversation where, she kind of expresses like, "Oh, this is really weird. You guys really just started dating very heavy. I just want to make sure that she's not taking advantage of you." Doesn't admit, what we find out later on about Nikki and Ian, but that conversation with knowing that makes a lot of sense that she would be thinking like, "Oh, I don't know, maybe you're caught in the middle of some trying to make the other jealous or something. I don't know." She doesn't say that, but like in my mind, when I hear that conversation on, viewing number 2, I'm like, okay, that was clearly her feeling uncomfortable with that and thinking that he was in the middle of it. And then you get the note, which, talking about Food Critic. And then on the back, she points out, well, it says, "What's the verdict, cat?" He realizes, that he has been fed a cat sandwich. Which, hey, I've seen some people say that they were a little triggered by that because, people have varying degrees of what they can deal with when it comes to animal violence. I'm glad we didn't see anything. That could have been the step further, is that we saw her make the sandwich or something.
Yeah.
But that would have ruined, right, the kind of twist of the moment.
Yeah.
But, great way they made the sandwich, too. It looked disgusting.
Yeah.
I was like, how are you eating that? And didn't realize.
It caught me off guard, too, because, like, I knew something was up with the sandwich just because, like, they showed it way too much of him eating it. And I thought maybe she put his hair in it because she, like, cut the hair, and I'm like, maybe she put his hair in there. And then when it was cat, I'm like, oh, that's way worse.
Yeah, like even the worst thing that you thought of, what they actually did was way worse.
Oh, yeah, not even close.
I guess that's like, I guess it kind of makes sense, though. It's like, this is a thing that he loved unconditional. Like, he loved this cat so much. It's like, oh, I know how I can make this full circle. It's like, I can give you something that you love. This is a thing that you love, and that, consuming. I see the logic in a very fucked up sort of way.
Yeah.
Right.
And just to go back just a second to the Sarah and him conversation, I think their dynamic is really important for this movie, because I think it's important to contrast the dynamics and what does a real dynamic look like. Like, I think sometimes Bear forgets what a real life relationship, if that's just a friendship or if that's, whatever it looks like, because he's so consumed by the Nikki thing. So every scene when it's him and Sarah together, it's like, oh, this is what this dynamic is supposed to look like. It's two people having real conversations, not just someone who does what you want to hear or does what this obsession thing that they have going on. So I thought all those scenes were just fantastic. I did think there's that shot when she puts her head on his shoulders. I was like, oh fuck, she's gonna come in here and it's gonna go ballistic. But they waited.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes.
Oh, they waited.
Yeah. They waited.
Yeah.
They pushed that one on the back burner for a very good reason.
Mm-hmm.
Was that your cat, Darren?
That was mine.
Oh, that was yours. Okay.
Yeah, that was
perfect
crazy.
timing.
Yeah, it was
perfect
crazy timing.
It was like right when we were talking about cat sandwich.
I was like, I don't think so.
So yeah, then he goes home and he finds Nikki at the exact moment where she was when he left, and she has pee all over the floor, which she did. We forgot to mention she did start peeing herself when he left, like right after. She's got throw up all over herself. She just looks horrendous, which obviously someone who's standing in the same spot for anywhere from 8 to 10 hours would, look, and that'd be nasty. So, she walks in and is trying to be nice, like, oh, I'll clean it up. I'll go take a shower, all this, blah, blah, blah. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. I forgot. And then before that, the conversation with Ian and Bear in the car. I did forget about that one.
Yeah.
That kind of sets the stage. He's having a party. He knows about it. Bear's kind of feeling some way about him not inviting him and Nikki. And this is kind of where Ian, like, before it was like a playful friend banter thing, advice when it comes to Nikki. This is kind of where Ian kind of drops that a little bit and, like, just straight up expresses concern and says, hey, like, something's wrong here. This is really weird. It looks like you're taking advantage of her. Like, something's not right with her mentally. And you're taking advantage of a really bad situation, basically. So then he kind of gives him like an ultimatum, like, hey, you can come tonight, but just don't bring Nikki. Like, this is going to be a boys' night. Says, okay. So then fast forward back to where we were before, where he gets home. She's covered in that. She goes to take the shower, and he's talking to her outside. And again, with positioning and what they're showing you, he's standing outside the shower, and he says, hey, I was really upset about what you did with the cat. That's not right. I think I'm going to go over to Ian's house tonight. It's a boys' night. And I don't know what she does. They don't really like outright say it, but you hear something just go boom. Yeah. And it's just real loud. And then all of a sudden she's like, boys' night? And I was just like, oh, but like, again, terrifying stuff here. Like, I'm like, this is just, and you can see you just see the acting from Bear in the way that he's like portraying that fear as he's talking. And she's like, well, I can dress up and get nice and we can go out. And then, he's being pretty steady and no, we're not coming. This is a boys' night only. And then he brings up that Sarah's going to be there. And then Bear kind of caves because he's a coward. Let's just be honest. And he doesn't like any type of confrontation or, doing anything like that. So they end up going to the party. And this is kind of where things really, really start to get set off and get nuts. They're in there. They're playing. I don't know what they were playing. It was like a combination of like Jenga and Truth or Dare. I don't really understand the game.
Yeah, it's like a drinking game of Jenga.
Yeah, with like Truth or Dare elements too in it. I don't really know. That one threw me off. I was like, I don't really understand the rules of this game. But we get this monologue from Indy Navarrete about like Hansel and Gretel, which I guess people have said is like an incestual thing in the way that she described it, which kind of plays into the whole thing about her saying that she looked at Bear as a brother.
Yeah.
Which, again, another piece that I didn't even pick up on in the movie, and someone told me later on. But that monologue, I think if she is nominated for an Oscar, that's the moment they should play, because it's a moment where there's no violence or anything like that. Sure. You can just express the creepiness in there. So I hope we see that one day. That's fingers crossed. We'll see. So yeah, that happens. Everyone is visually uncomfortable. Like everybody in the room visually uncomfortable. And to kind of shout out Cody Leach's video that he talked about that. Nobody there is happy for them. Nobody is talking about how like, oh, you guys are finally together or anything. So like everybody knows there's something up here. And that, and that's just kind of the blindness to me of Bear, where he can't even see what everybody else can see, essentially.
I don't even know if it's like he can't see it. I think he doesn't want to see it.
Yeah, he's denying.
Right? He's gaslighting himself to think like, I could make this work. This is fine. And I even think, just to not to go away from the party thing, but I think that car scene leading up to this is interesting too, just because it's like, was he actually concerned for her, or was he just upset? Yeah, like, or was he just upset that, wait, you were supposed to be my girl, like this was our thing. Right. You weren't supposed to do this. This is not how it was supposed to go. How did this happen? And then I think that party scene is, you kind of feel the like cringe, good cringe. I think it's good. It's a good kind of cringe, but like the cringe in the scene of just like, oh, this is awkward, when it's like when he has to read like I don't even know why he said it. I would have just made up a lie about it.
Yeah,
It's like
100%.
it's like, oh, I kissed the person to the left of me. It's like, God, why would you say that? Just make it up. Say something else, you idiot.
Yeah.
I would have honestly
do jumping jacks or some shit.
Yeah. Something. Or like make up an excuse, be like, oh, you know what, the writing's all scratched off on this one. Let me pull another one real quick or something, you know? Yeah, that the uncomfortable, like that was a moment in the movie where I like put myself at that party and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I would have been able to hide my expression of uncomfortableness if that was me in that situation, you know. And yeah, and then like you said, when he pulls that, the acting from, you know, the Bear, Sarah, and Ian, like as they're reacting, I love the shot where like they're reacting to her when she stands up. They don't show you her face for like 2 minutes, but what it felt like was 2 minutes, and then they turn and it's just or I can't even do it. It's so uncanny, the face that she makes. But it was hilarious. That got one of the biggest laughs out of my theater when I saw that opening night. And then, and then you get that super uncomfortable scene where she just pulls Sarah back and then gets on her knees and gives him the kiss. So it's like, I don't know how he thinks he's going to salvage this situation, especially at this point. It's already gotten too crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Yeah. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that was another good example of sound design, I would say, in that scene too, of just dragging the chair back, of how fast and loud she did, made you like kind of perk up, like, oh shit, like is she gonna?
Yeah.
Well, is she gonna hurt her here, or is it was great.
What's gonna happen? Yeah.
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 That was the thing. Everything was so unpredictable. Like there was just no moment where I really knew what was gonna happen. It was all shock to me. Like,
right.
I think it's also just like such good setup too, because you have the first act moment where she's like, "So, what do you think of Sarah? Like, you know, do you like her?" So she consciously knows that Sarah wants potentially that to happen, which is, I think, is such a good moment, because like from that moment, I was like, "Oh, Sarah's dead." Like, so like Sarah's not making it out of this movie, and so you're just waiting. Like, there's 3 or 4 moments where it's not now. Okay, she's safe for now. And like, you know it's happening, and it's just like I'll wait to say it until you get to it. But I think it's a really good scene. I was like, yeah, it could happen here. Like, she could have just like stabbed her with a brick or something, and then that would have been it.
And then obviously too, we get to me that was like the first moment where like real Nikki is willing to just end her life to get out of this situation. It's so horrible for her that she snaps out of it. It seems like she takes control. I didn't notice this on the first watch, but because the theater I saw it the first time was an early access, so it was a regular theater. But then when I saw it in Dolby, I heard what she said, and she's screaming, "It's not me! It's not me!" She says it twice, and then she bashes the bottle on the thing, stabs herself twice, just trying to kill herself. Then I presume Freaky Nikki takes back over. But yeah, that was like the moment that hurt the most for me for Nikki, because I was like, oh, this is so bad. She's willing to kill herself to get out of this situation.
I'm so and like, I think that's like the aspect that you were talking about, how it's up for interpretation, and I'm like, what is it exactly? Is it a mindscape sort of situation? Are we dealing with hell? Is she in like, some sort of like, I don't know. Like, I think like there's so much of like, what is actually happening to Nikki that I think makes it scarier. I think it's the lack of knowledge about what actually this magic stick is, and where do they go, and who makes these rules, and where are they coming from, that makes this whole thing terrifying. I don't know if we got there yet in your breakdown, but like when they're they're doing the call, and it's just the scream. It's just like the screaming of like, where is she? Like what is she going through in there?
Yeah, I took that whole thing as it's like purgatory. It pretty much like she's in a version of hell, and she can't get out of it. And then it's brutal.
That must have been one thing I missed on my notes, was the call, because I'm pretty sure that actually happened before the party scene, if I remember correctly. Gotcha. I think it was after the cat, before he went inside the house.
Sure.
To do it, yeah. And,
yes.
And we could kind of talk about that again. That too was another, like, if you were debating on whether or not Bear was the villain, the fact that when he calls the customer service rep, he wants to alter the wish and not cancel it.
Absolutely.
Right there is like, okay, this guy doesn't even care that she's suffering like that.
Mhm.
Hears her on the phone too, where she's screaming, because he's like, oh, you want to talk to the real Nikki? And you hear her screaming, and he still tries to make it work. It's like, dude, that's selfishness right there.
Absolutely.
You don't even care about her, that she's literally not in control. This is a fake version of Nikki that's not even her.
Yes.
And you don't even care. So that scene especially paints that picture of like, Bear is not the good guy here.
No.
I think people have been tricked by the way that, obviously Nikki and with Indy Neveretti's performance has the crazy moments, right? The ones that are all the crazy stuff is going on, whereas Bear's like kind of evilness is very subtle. It's not loud. It's not something that catches your attention right away. It's once you add everything up and then look back on it and say, oh yeah, those were not great decisions that you made along the way.
I think, I don't know if this is on purpose or whatever, but I do think there's something to his name being Bear. Yeah. I think there is something there, right? It's like, he seems nice and cuddly and seems pretty nice, but inside he can do these very despicable things that no one thought he would have been capable of. It's the quiet ones that you have to watch out for. That's also, and I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts, who's answering the phone? Is that Satan?
Right. Right.
Who is that?
Yeah. Well, it is Curry Barker. That I know for sure. That's actually him on the phone. But that's a kind of a good thing too. And we'll jump around, I guess, a little bit since we're kind of towards the end anyways. The wish, like the One Wish Willow, he has said in interviews at this point that it's not inherently evil. It's about the wish that you make. Yeah. And I kind of believe that, because when you get to the later scene after the Sarah part, and that part I do want to talk about, so we won't go into specifics, but after you get to that point and he's going to the store and he's making this whole big deal, like, why would you sell this to people? Why, it's ruining people's lives. And the guy at the counter is acting like, well, what are you talking about, man? I had my wish, and like, he seems fine. And he's like talking jovial about it, and like, it's a great thing. So I think that just kind of goes to show that, like, from the beginning, Bear's intentions were very, they were ill-fated. Like, even at the beginning, even if he didn't think that this is, because I think intent matters, right? Like, I've seen pictures where, like, he's like next to like Art the Clown, Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, and everyone's like the 4 worst villains in horror. I'm like, guys, calm down. Intention matters, okay? That definitely plays a part. Though I think you're a villain, but I think that just goes to show that from the beginning it was ill-intentioned. It was going to always be this. It was never going to be right. When you're trying to take someone's autonomy to love you, nothing good's going to come from it.
And like, even that, like, I can kind of sort of defend the wish itself, because like, I think in his defense, I'm like, he doesn't think it's going to actually work, right? It's just a fun little party favor or whatever. But yeah, it is once he finds out what's going on is where he becomes the villain.
Well, and that's why I say intention matters, right? Because
absolutely,
when you go into it and you don't think it's going to work, fine. What you do after, though, is what makes it villain. If he had stopped it right then and there and tried to fix it, okay, fine. But
I'm also just so interested about like the world building of this world is so fascinating to me. It's like, okay, it's known to work, right? Like, people on the internet knows it works. The person at the cash register knows it works. It's $7. Like, I'm just so like, I don't know. It's such an interesting, where do these things come from?
Yeah.
Do they just kind of appear on the shelves? Like, at first I thought it was going to be a thing of like, oh, it just appears when, when a person needs it most. And then when he came back, it was going to be gone and no one knew like what it was or whatever. Like, at first I thought like the woman at the thing was going to be like a witch or whatever that sold it and then it'd be gone. But no, it's just there. Like, it's just like anyone can go in and buy, like, he could have bought 10 of them and gave it out to all his friends, and that would have been okay. So what is magic a known element in this world? Are there real witches out? Like, I'm just so, and again, I think you're right, Alan. I think the unknown is what makes this movie so interesting.
Good. Yeah.
I want to theorize and I want to talk about, and I want to be like, well, you know, like what is this? And I do really hope that like TV show that they pitched comes to a reality, because there's so many different versions of this. I want to see what all these different people would pick as their wishes. And I think you're right about like some are good, because Ian did his whole like I wish for like $1 million, and that could be bad, obviously, but inherently it's not a bad thing. It's you know, just money. So
I love that. I love that line at the end where he's like, "Dude, open the door! I just won a fucking $1 billion."
So it's like, yeah, no shit. I just saw it all fall from the ceiling.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I was there, dude. Like, all right.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be the opposite, where it was going to be like so much money it like suffocates them or something like that. Like it is the monkey pull effect of like you got your money, but it's too much money and you're going to die from it or something. But
comes at a cost, money. Right? Yeah. Okay, so we'll jump back. Obviously, at this point on, the movie is just fucking insane. The last like 25 minutes of this film, I was just on the edge of my seat. So it starts after, you know, we have the party scene. She gets beat up. It seems like they don't really give you clarification. They try to go to the hospital, but I don't know if Nikki refuses at that point. That's what it seemed like to me in that moment. But you can't hear anything, so you don't really know. They go back home. You know, she's being obsessive, how she has been the whole time. They have the conversation where he basically tells her none of this is okay. What you're doing is okay. She does the flip where, you know, she says, "I'm Freaky Nikki," or "I'm your Freaky Nikki." And I'm like, again, that's another one that you can include in the B-roll when, you know, she's nominated for an Oscar for me. And then you get the scene, which to me is by far the most irredeemable part of the entire movie for Bear. They're sleeping. He's getting text messages from Sarah to come meet. And, you know, she's like, "Hey, you need to come talk to me in the park, or I'm going to come knock at the door." In his mind, he's probably thinking, yeah, don't want that to happen at all, because I know how that's going to turn out. So I'm going to get up. As he gets up and he's walking away, the real Nikki is it seems like barely awake, but she's there. And says, "Hey, she's sleeping. Kill me now.
Yeah.
Please kill me." And anyone in that situation, you know, not saying that we can say if we would do something if we were in that situation, because this is so fantastical and not realistic. But in my mind, if you cared about her in that moment, she is literally after she already attempted to take her life, she's literally pleading with you to kill her. And his response is, "What's so bad about loving me?"
Yeah.
That's the moment right there where he was irredeemable for the rest of the movie.
Sure.
There was everything he did was definitely questionable, bad up until that point. But that was really the moment where I said there is no coming back from this for Bear, no matter what he does for the rest of this film.
Yep.
Scene continues. He leaves her there after saying that, and he goes to talk to Sarah, which already very morally gray, because it's like you're already planning your next relationship basically after ruining this woman's life, ruining everything that you've had to do with her. You know, he gets in the car. He's having the conversation with Sarah. They talk about her getting into college and kind of the craziness that's going on with Nikki. She reveals that Nikki and Ian had been hooking up on and off. She did say specifically it was not a romantic situation. You know, it was casual hooking up, right? Friends with benefits, yeah. And again, express interest that maybe Nikki is trying to get back at Ian. Even though this whole time, like, he's having this conversation with her, he knows that's not what this is. Yeah. He already knows that it's not that. The wish works, and that's what it is. Oh, shit. Sorry, hold on one second.
You're good.
Sorry, I just flung my headphones out of my thing while I was talking. So he already knows, and he's not, he tries to defend her, and he says, like, "Oh, well, her dad is dying." Even though he knows her dad's not dying, he knows that they're not together. Yeah. So he's lying to Sarah about, like, the events of what's going on here. So, yet again, pushing that forward, that Bear's not a good guy. And she makes the comment, about how it's the person on his left, insinuating relationship and feelings for one another. And the whole time, the way, again, Curry Barker does his camera angles, you get the angle of Sarah, you see in the background, and I just knew the whole scene. I was so anxious the whole time because I knew what was coming. I knew it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
But he lets it linger for so long that you think it's almost like it pulls it back and reverses all the way back, makes you think, oh no, she's good. It's fine. Bashes the brick through, hits her with the brick. Fucking, I don't even know how many times. It was like 50. Her face was mush.
Her face was gone.
It was it was mush at that point. That was probably like the most like heartbreaking moment for me in the movie because I'm like, we're not going to have a happy ending. That is just off the table. And that's finally the moment that Bear wants to fix this. The fact it took all the way up until that moment when someone is dead and was murdered is when Bear wants to fix this.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, oh my God.
And even then, I don't even know if I fully, like, what if his wish did work, right? Like, what if he could buy another wish stick? Would he have...
Oh, yeah.
Have just fixed what he done, or would he have, like, reset everything?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
if I remember, I think he said he wanted Nikki to love him as a friend. Which that's not even great either, because now you're going to force her to still like you after everything you've done. Because we know at this point, the real Nikki would probably want nothing to do with him if she came out of this trance and, did that. So.
Yeah. No, that scene was my biggest jump scare of the movie because I had just like, I don't know, like I had just kind of looked the other way for just a second and I just hear it in my, I was like, holy shit, what happened? And again, like that goes into the thing I said earlier. This does a really good job at luring you into a sense of comfort of like, this is a scene. If you take out all the context, this is a scene you'd see in some rom-com movie, the flaring music and the nice moments. And you're like, oh, this could have been, a route that he could have gone if he hadn't done this. Like, this was a very viable option. And I think he's realizing in the moment of, like, I wouldn't mind doing this. As fucked as it is, like, he's doing that. And then it's just bam. And you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah. I felt so bad for Sarah. I felt so bad for her. Like,
she gets the shit end of the stick in this movie.
Yeah.
No,
she seems like the only one that's normal too.
It's honestly.
Yeah, just trying to find her career and ask out the person she likes and make this surviving friendship, friend group somehow survive this weirdness that's been going on somehow. And like she genuinely cares about Bear. Like in the scene, she's like, I don't like how she's treating you. This isn't fair on you. He's taking advantage of you and all this. She's taking advantage of you.
I knew she was gonna eat it too. Whenever they kept talking about her getting into college, and then she had the letter, I'm like, "Yep, this is when you go because you're gonna get into that college and you're done."
Yeah, there was no world where, like, again, from the first 15 minutes when it's like, I think you might, like, do you like her? I was like, oh, you're fucked. You're so fucked. Yeah. Like, there's no way you're making out of this.
And then you get the scene after where they have to bring the body into. I don't know. Were they at the store when they brought the body in? Like, they show them dragging the body into, like, the car. And then there's the scene where he's sitting down and you see Nikki kind of come from in the shadows and, like, she's got all the blood on her. I'm like, was that at the store? Like, that's kind of what it looked like to me. But I don't know.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell.
Yeah, I'm like, the way that he shot it, it was like I couldn't really tell where they were or anything. But maybe it was at the house because that was, where she reappeared again later. But I want to give a shout out though to Michael Johnston who played Bear, because even after all that, I think he's irredeemable at this point. He's clearly the villain. You get that scene where after all that happened and he's in the car and he has the envelope with the letter for Sarah's acceptance to the college she wanted to go to, and it's got all the blood on it. He opens it up and it says that she was accepted. And he just lets out like a blood-curdling scream. And I'm like, I shouldn't feel bad for you in the moment, but because of how good his performance was, I did feel bad for him in that moment.
Yeah.
Because it was a reminder, like I said, kind of full circle. If you had just expressed your feelings, like if you had expressed your feelings and she didn't reciprocate with Nikki, then maybe he would have naturally found Sarah and he could have still, moved on and found love and everything. So it was like, the movie really feels like a tragedy for me. Like when I watch it, I'm like, every step of the way, it just keeps knocking it down, knocking everyone down, and goes from there. You got a shout out here, Kyle.
What's up, Clay?
yeah, so that was devastating, and it just doesn't let up. We already kind of talked about the scene where, I'm looking like Nikki again here. Jesus Christ, what is going on with my gear? Okay, there we go. And then we already talked about the scene. He goes back to the place to buy more One Wish Willows, tries to do it with the wish of wishing that Nikki loved him as a friend. Doesn't work at all. There was a cool little detail that Curry Barker had pointed out in an interview that every time after the first one that he tries to do it where he doesn't have a wish anymore, it actually makes a different jingle. And I picked that up on that on the second watch, which I thought that was a cool little detail in there. So then he goes to Ian's house, begs him essentially to use the wish to undo his wish, which at that point wouldn't have really fixed anything, but whatever. And then we get the. I guess it depends on how it works, right? We don't. That's another thing we just don't know.
I guess it depends on the interpretation because, I read "undo my wish." I was thinking time travel shit. It's undo me from ever making the wish kind of thing.
Yeah,
right.
Maybe. Yeah. But again, I'm wondering if does that even work, right?
Right.
Because it's is it a thing where you can, it does whatever you say, or is it we're not going to accept that wish because it's not your wish, it's someone else's wish kind of thing?
Yeah.
Because this was my thought process. I was okay, hire a TikToker or something, pay them to do a thing for an ad or a movie or something, and just be okay, say these lines and then break the wish. And I was would that work? Right?
Yeah,
would that work?
Right.
Or again, is it no, that person doesn't want that wish, so it's not going to work kind of thing. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
It's fascinating.
That's and then again, that goes back to the left for interpretation, right? He doesn't outright give answers, and I think that will, if there's going to be more, and we're going to do more in this universe, that doing that in this movie will help that because it will allow for things to be answered in those types of projects later on.
Yeah.
And then so then he, Ian doesn't believe him whatsoever. I mean, that's just very apparent. He doesn't believe him that it was from a wish. So he wishes for $1 billion, and $1 billion falls from the sky, which I thought that was kind of the most comedic and outrageous moment of the film. I thought that was really great.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, especially sandwiched in between the two moments that we get before and after, I thought that was kind of a great way to get a little bit of a laugh out of me.
I wonder what the cops thought. They go into this kid's house to investigate this dead kid's. How did this 21-year-old just have he's a billionaire
in cash? In cash too. Not even in his account. Yeah.
That came through the roof. He's got a big hole in the
roof. Yeah. So I thought that was great to kind of just call, get a good laugh in before we get to the end, which we could get into it. That whole sequence. When I first saw the movie, I felt a little bit like it was a little rushed. That was kind of my thing. But on a rewatch, I brought it back because the way the whole scene, it does go fast. So I think that's kind of where I didn't like it as much on the first time because I think I missed a couple of things. I missed some details because of how fast that whole sequence happens. So he comes home. Nikki is completely dressed up like Sarah. That was one thing I didn't realize the first time.
I didn't catch that.
Tattoo. She's got the same dress that Sarah was wearing. And again, that goes back to what you said, where it's this entity or whatever it is that has control of Nikki is trying everything she can to please Bear and make Bear happy. And I just don't think it works because Bear's just so freaked out by this situation. Sarah's over in the corner, naked essentially because she got stripped down when she stole her clothes and face still bashed in and everything. And it seems like I don't know how you guys took that. I thought that for a moment Nikki was going to off him and off herself because she couldn't make him happy with having the gun and freaking out on him and everything. And you get that great scene where they're face to face and she's screaming at him and he's screaming "I love you" and all this, and then she throws up on him and it reminded me a little bit of Evil Dead, where I don't remember her name, Mia, the main character from the 2013 Evil Dead movie, where she kind of does the turn to the Deadite and she starts saying all this obscene stuff. That's what it felt like to me in that moment. Which again shows the inspirations that Indy took for this performance. She felt like a bunch of different all-time performances in this film.
One. Yep.
So yeah, and then Ian, like I said, knocking at the door, dude, I got $1 million, which I thought that was funny too in the moment. I thought that was a good line, and then he barges in. He's very shocked by what he's seeing because everything's just falling apart. Nikki shoots him in the head, so now he's dead. And then Bear kind of just tells her he loves her just to get her to calm down and relax. He goes to the bathroom, locks himself in there. You get the great scene where she's like beating on the door, trying to get in, which they released that scene, I want to add, by the way, like a day after. It was like the Friday it came out. I'm like, I mean, it was only the part where she's banging on the door and then she does the switch where she's like, okay, and then leaves. Mm-hmm. Someone who hasn't seen the movie, you'll watch that clip. It doesn't really reveal much in it, but then like when you watch the movie, you're like, dude, that's in the last like 10 minutes. Like, why are you guys releasing this on opening weekend? So I thought that was.
I also like that scene because it's very, it feels very addict
behavior,
right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Where it's like you will do anything to get the fix, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you can't do this. No. It's like, oh no, I'm sorry. Like, let's just do this. And like, you're right. Like, we should take a break and blah blah blah. And I guarantee, as soon as he opens the door, it would have been back to just, I need this given. What I mean? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I thought, with a movie called Obsession, and she relatively is an addict. Like she physically needs this thing. Yeah. I thought that was a very, very good decision.
See, I actually kind of took that part. I thought she was just saying that to him to like maybe distract him while she was doing her own One Wish Willow. That's what I thought it was, because like right after she said that, and then he's taking the pills, you hear the noise of it before he actually makes the wish. Yeah. Then we can talk about that too. And yeah, this was reported that they were supposed to both die at the end. So Bear basically makes the decision that he's like, there's nothing else we can do at this point. I'm just going to kill myself. He acts like he's going to shoot himself with the gun in cowardly Bear fashion. Doesn't do that. So he resorts to grabbing the pills, eats a bunch of pills. From there, he's sitting there kind of reflecting on everything. And supposedly this was not originally in the movie, but the actor, Michael Johnston, who played Bear, gave this moment to Curry Barker and said, hey, let's do this. Right before she makes the wish to make him love her, he goes to put the finger in his mouth. So he was going to cop out and not actually do it, but then the wish takes over.
Yep.
I thought that was great, because then that just showed at the end Bear was still a coward. Even through all that, after Ian dying, Sarah dying, everything they've been through, however many days this took place, he was still a coward. He was still thinking he could fix this situation. Yeah. And wanted it. Still somehow wants that. I don't understand how at that point you even want it.
Yeah.
But he did. So I thought that was a great detail. I thought that was just to say, hey, he's not a hero. He's the villain here. He's
right.
And then, she does the wish. He falls in love with her for, a couple of minutes. They embrace each other. And then he dies from the overdose. And then she is not really snapped out of it yet. Seems like she's going to kill herself with the gun as she's holding Bear. She snaps out of it. I love the moment where she snaps out of it. Immediately pushes Bear's body off of her.
Yep.
Goes to show she does not care about him at all at that point after everything that she's been through.
Yeah.
And then she's, obviously very upset, crying, and it does the reverse camera angle pan to the TV playing forever. End credits roll with the TV. And for me, just a perfect ending to the film. Yeah. And one that's, I sat there after, like, as the credits were rolling and she's just screaming. I just sat there and didn't say anything. I was silent for the entire sequence.
I'm really glad they went through her living, because I think that's a much more interesting ending, because there's so many, like, it's like, okay, what are the multiple outcomes of this movie? Is she could either go to jail for life for triple homicide, which seems like the most likely option based on what we heard.
Yeah.
She goes to some kind of psych ward or something like that, because she did go to a party and was clearly like showing off very like psychotic tendencies. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's where, you know, we do that. I know some people have mentioned like maybe they look on the computer or Bear's computer and they see the magic searches or whatever, and like I've seen that thrown around where like, oh, maybe they piece it together that this was magic or whatever. Again, it's also weird. I don't know how like aware the world is of magic. Like, do police and lawyers and stuff like is that in the system, or is it still somewhat? I don't know. Again, I don't know how it works, but no, I think it's a I would agree with you. I think it's a perfect ending because you get to decide what do you think happens to her by the end. What is the outcome of her character, and I think that's fascinating.
Right. Yep. And sometimes I think the best movies kind of leave with no answers. Like it's just ambiguous. You have no idea what's going to go on. Like obviously the cops are going to walk into that room and they're probably not going to believe that you broke a magic stick and all this happened. But like you said, they kind of explain that, you know, it does exist in this world. The guy at that shop, you know, makes it sound like, oh yeah, people just, you know, like he had a wish, like people must come in and do the wishes at least fairly often. I don't know. There could be a great spinoff with that. There really could be.
Yeah.
And even the Reddit pages that they showed when he was searching up, it was like, oh, my mom used to be ugly and now she's good looking.
And that's the thing. Why is it only $7? Like that's like why are these like millions of dollars? Like I like that makes me think everyone in the little. That's like that's a fun theory. Like all the people that own the store are like demons or whatever. That's just trying to get rid of these magic sticks or whatever. But I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that was like a magic style store, or like I don't know. They sold like
crystals and stuff like that.
Maybe they're witches. I don't know.
What were you gonna say, Kyle?
I was gonna say that Reddit page is 100% what happens to you. You look up something. Hey, does this work? Yes. No, yes, no, yes. Like, yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Yeah. And then too, I paid attention on the second time. It was called Treaded. That's what it said.
Oh, okay.
I was like, can't get hit with copyright or anything like that.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, obviously we've gone over basically the whole movie here and a lot. I love the movie. I mean, it was just so good. Everything about it. And I think, like I said, I think it's one that is going to only age better over time with rewatches. And I'm just like, anything Curry Barker makes, I'm there day one. I'm there day one. I don't care what genre it is. I don't care, who's in it. It's at my most anticipated list. I struggle. Like I was thinking about this earlier. I can't really think of someone who had a better directorial debut besides maybe Jordan Peele with Get Out. And even that one, I'm like, I might like this one better. I don't know.
I would say Zach Kreger would be up there pretty high.
Yeah,
I don't think Barbarians is as good as this movie, but
it's in the conversation. Good.
Yeah.
But it's especially from someone so young. I'm like, just in it. I mean, really inexperienced. I know he's done short films. Like I know he did. It was called like Milk and Cereal, I believe. It's on YouTube. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but now I want to go and watch it because I'm like, I just want to see anything that he's done. But yeah, I'm just totally blown away at what he did here, and what we can do in the future. And again, Indy Navarrete, her too. Like, I want to see her in something like tomorrow. Like that's where I'm at with it. Somebody threw out the idea of her being in Smile 3, and I was like, oh, I would not be opposed to that, to be honest.
Yeah,
sure.
Just with what she showed, but maybe she wants to go do something else. Obviously, I think either way, she's gonna go on to do great things.
It does make me happy, like not to go off on like a tangent on this, hyperfixation, but like she talked about like obviously like similar to season 4, they had to let go a lot of the cast due to the budget reasons and stuff like that, and like she was talking about like that was sad, but my dream was to make movies and to make stuff like that, and so to go from like I love the show, but like to go from like a CW show to like already one of the movies of the year is really, really cool. And I think she could very easily be one of the most successful people post CW if this is an indicator of her talent and what she can do going forward. I could see her going far. I could see her being one of the best, the next big stars in Hollywood. I could definitely see it.
I'll even take that one step further. I think when you look at that crop of those like CW DC shows, I think just off of this one performance, she's already done better than anyone else did.
Oh yeah, it's.
I can't think of anyone else who even went on to do anything that, especially in movies, to do something to this level.
I love that show, but they did not use her to her capabilities, and that's not their fault. Her character in that show, it's not that kind of character that would have that kind of material. But I'm like, you had a gold mine. You didn't know it. You didn't even know it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can kind of use stuff like that as like a stepping stone. Maybe that's how a lot of people should use that. I was in Arrow season 5, but now I'm in Dune. Or
Austin
like that,
Butler started on Arrow.
Oh,
that's
right.
A one-off villain on Arrow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like he probably did something before then that we're not thinking about. But yes, he was. Which is funny. Well, okay, maybe let me take that back then. Maybe she's not the first one to go on and do some great stuff in movies.
Sure, she's among the roster.
Among, yeah. I mean, there's not a lot though. That's the whole point. There's not many, right? There's not many who went to do that. So yeah. I mean, final thoughts from each of you. Anything else that you guys want to add or anything like that?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I mean, this was a really good combo. Having only seen it once, you already pointed out so many things where I'm like, I didn't pick up on that, and that's good. I think doing this right now, I'm like, I think I like it even more than I did prior to doing this stream. So, I love this movie. It's my number 1 of the year. It's gonna be a hard pitch for any movie to beat this year, and I love. I didn't really have that last year. Last year, there were some great movies, but there wasn't one that was like, "Oh, this is my number 1." They were all like, "Hey, these are all pretty good." So I like having that kind of competition and being like, "Oh no, this was my favorite from this point," and then let's see if anyone can beat it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this comment was talking about Austin Butler, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Funny. Kyle, what about you? Final thoughts? Anything?
Yeah, like I said, I think this is probably the best horror movie for me since I don't know if you guys have seen It Follows.
Yeah.
This is probably one of the best since that for me.
Yeah.
That really affected me. I would say I was thinking about this movie 2 to 3 days after seeing it.
Yeah.
I haven't had that in a while. So besides maybe one of the Avengers movies or whatever, but that's just a different story kind of.
It's a different type of feeling with those,
it is
as opposed to a horror movie. Yeah.
100%. I think they have a lot. There's an opportunity here to have some really good spinoffs. And maybe you don't even stick with the whole wish stick thing. Maybe there's other toys or whatever in that shop that have different kinds of effects to them. There's a great opportunity there.
I agree. I really I came out of that showing being like, okay, someone pick up the show. Give it Amazon. Give it to Amazon or something like that.
Yes.
Oh my god, an 8-episode season every year and a half. Holy shit, that'd be great.
I wonder if because it was Focus Features who did this. I wonder if they have a streaming deal with anyone, and maybe they'll look at it. I don't know who it is, but
wasn't Blumhouse, I think.
Oh yeah, that's right. They were part of it too.
Universal, I think. Okay. Peacock.
Maybe Peacock. Yeah.
Oh,
hey, if they can greenlight a Friday the 13th prequel series, I would be okay with them greenlighting a One Wish Willow show. That would be down for that. And then one last thing too, because I know we touched upon it, we didn't fully talk about it. Very inspirational to see someone like Curry Barker from the YouTube verse convert. I would say of the crop of the YouTube guys who have made now feature films, this was the best outing. I thought before it was Talk to Me by the Rocka Brothers, but to me, I think this one was better. And even just for us, for the content that we make, that is just very inspirational to know that, hey, maybe one day this could be one of us. You know what I'm saying? Doing something like that. So really love to see that trend, and I love that we're getting that over the same nepotism children and repeatedly over and over again. This is another avenue to get into filmmaking.
Yeah.
So to me, it's a win. I think it's
good.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that was just the last thing I wanted to say there. So really appreciate you guys joining. I think it was great conversation. I'm going to think about this movie forever, really, at this point, with how much there's to talk about. So we'll just go around. Kyle, where can we find you? And if you got anything that you want to shout out that you're doing coming up.
You can find me on TikTok at Power Up Productions. I will be on Council of Creators tomorrow on Chainsaw Reacts channel. Other than that, just watching older movies I've never seen. I just did a Big Hero 6 review.
Fantastic movie.
And I loved it. So, I'm just trying to go back and see things that everybody talks about that I've never seen. That
more
I get
than
a lot
WALL-E,
of shit for.
Kyle.
It's significantly better than WALL-E for me.
Yeah.
I
soul.
knew when I posted that review, you were the first person I thought of. I'm like, oh, he's not gonna like this.
He's not gonna be happy.
Yeah.
That's funny. I see your live streams that you do with the pulling shelf. I love seeing those, man. Physical movie all day. Daren, what about you? You got anything going on? I think we all find you, but
you can find me over at Daren Sanctuary. I do the Pipeline podcast every Thursday. I'm actually going to be doing my own Obsession episode this week, so y'all can check that out. I've had you on many times. Kyle, or Alan, I've had you on my other show, but I still need to get you on Pipeline.
Yes, Pipeline. But I've been on after the credits, but
but I can find both of you on my side. So if you want to see more of us, and then again, Council, we're all on Council
for sure.
A lot. So if you like that,
I'll be on tomorrow with Kyle too. So
awesome.
It'll be fun. But and then you can find me at AG Reviews. I'm getting back into the swing of things. I finally got my own little setup here in my room now, so it's a little bit easier for me to make content than it was before. So I took a little break to kind of get all that situated. I'm gonna start updating these posters. I just had what I could. It was together in MK. I know the angle's not great, but I'll start to customize it and play around with it as I go. So that's it for us, guys. Thank you for all who watched. It was great to have you guys. Let's do something like this again soon. Everyone, have a great night.